Channeling and healing today with my group of guides, the Shastra Collective, and we're going to talk about how to create your life with love and harmony. So there will be links and everything to follow this up later if you want more details about what events and classes I have coming up. But today I'm just offering kind of like a live mini class and intro into what that's all about and ways that I can help you create your life with love and harmony. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that and what to do when you're not in alignment with love and harmony. And also later on, my group of guides, the Shastra Collective, will do a channeling and speak about this subject matter, but also their language is very full of light encoded information, so just listening to them speak sometimes is enough to kind of help you shift out of where you are and receive that light encoded language and healing. And then later on I'll be giving some tips and tools for my online class that's coming up, so just kind of stick around and watch this whole video. So I want to ask you, like, how are you feeling out of sync in your life right now? And just think about that for a minute. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to comment. And when the Shastra Collective does their live channeling and healing, I'll look at the questions beforehand and see if they can answer some of those questions for you. And just, when you're feeling out of sync in your life, so what we tend to do is we have a lot of emotions come up and then we react and try and fix the situation, or we scramble to work harder or to try and change things and make things better by doing more. And what that does is it puts you in a place of creating matter with matter. So, for example, I had a patient the other day, a healing client, and she just found that she was having the same issues over and over and over again of like feeling really stuck and not being able to move past where she was and feeling like, what's wrong with me and why is this happening to me and why can I never move past this? And what I said to her was, instead of seeing that life is acting upon you or seeing that something bad has happened to you, ask yourself a question. Get curious about this situation and ask, what is this teaching me? Or what emotion is coming up inside of me that needs healing? Because when this happens, I told her to say thank you, because when someone triggers you or when some situation challenges you, it's bringing up to the surface parts of you that need to be healed or strengthened or grown. And this is a wonderful doorway, because everything that challenges you is a doorway and an opportunity for something better for you, or for you to become more in line with your fuller self. Because maybe you're in the wrong direction, and so doors are going to slam in your face. And maybe you're meant to be over here doing something even better. So when the door slams in your face, it's like, oh, thanks, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going to go this way now and see what's over here. So when you get curious about it, then it's no longer a threat to you. It's not something that's acting upon you and victimizing you. Then you become a creator and you're like, oh, what can I do with this? Instead of like, poor me, this is happening to me. And asking those deeper questions of like, what part of me is triggered and how can I heal this? This is a great opportunity for me to become even more in control of myself and in harmony with myself than before. So see it as an opportunity. And then just breathe and, kind of witness what's happening, because often when somebody treats us terrible or we have some sort of incident, we create stories around it and we create judgment around it of like, why did they do this to me and what's wrong with me? Or, people are terrible, or I don't trust. And so rather than, or, I'm just a loser, or I'm just a failure. Like, I can't ever resolve these things within me. And so we create these stories and judgment around ourselves, but also around the other person. And so when you remove that story and that judgment and you just simply witness it and go, oh, these feelings are coming up inside of me. I'm having that same story come up again. That's interesting. Okay. it still needs some healing. It still is like, it's still triggering me. So I know that I can, kind of dive deeper into this and say, what does it need? When you treat your emotions and your feelings like a child, you wouldn't say, shame on you for crying, or, how terrible of you to like feel hurt by something somebody said. Like, that's wrong of you to feel that way. You would instead say, what do you need? How can I help you? Or you would offer it nurturing and, a hug or an embrace. And so we don't often enough do that for ourselves, to say, you know what, I just need to slow down and take a day and take a hot bath or do nothing and not feel guilty about it, because I need to chill out and just center myself. And that's nurturing yourself. And so giving nurturance to those feelings rather than judgment and shame and blame, just treat those feelings as your inner child, because it is deeply rooted in your inner child. And then from that place, when you're curious and you're interested and you're not in that place of resistance and fighting against your feelings, or in resistance of like judging them rather than just witnessing and allowing them to be, then you can stop and take a moment after breathing and look around and say, oh, you can look outside of yourself and see what is harmonious working around you right now. And it doesn't have to do anything with what it is that you're upset about. You can just look around and say, oh, you know what? The temperature in here is really nice. And wow, this is a really quiet day, and I'm really enjoying this peace and quiet today. Or, I really love the smell of these flowers. Or look how beautiful the birds are playing amongst the trees today. Or, wow, my pinky toe feels, or my pinky finger feels really great. If your whole body's hurting or you're just in pain and suffering, you'd be like, oh, but my pinky feels really good. And you can just focus on that one little thing that's in super harmony right now. Or think about like, oh my gosh, I'm like moving my hands and my brain's doing all these actions and chemical signals and firing and blood flowing and breath and oxygen and sodium, potassium pumps are happening right now. And I don't have to think of any of that complexity. And my body is such a complex machinery or device that like, I don't even have to think about it. I just will it, and it just rearranges itself for me. Because that's really how the whole universe thinks. If you will it to be, if you just think, I want to go here and I want to do this, just the way you move your body, I want to move my hand in that way, for most of us, that it just does it. You don't think, if I want to wave my hand, it's not going to do it. I mean, unless you've been paralyzed for some reason. But that's how the universe works as well. It responds to you in a way that when you set your intention and you plant that seed of like, I want to go do this and I want to experience that, you just sit back and allow it, and it'll just happen. It'll just kind of come to you. But there's a little, in the human world, it's a little more complex, but it doesn't need to be. It's complex, but it's simple. It's simple in that sometimes when we set our intentions, they're backed by because the lack of, or because the fear of, or like, something happens to you and you're like, oh my gosh, I need a new job because I just lost mine. And so you're in this kind of lower vibration, desperation kind of energy of like lack and fear and worry and distress, but when you're creating from a place of love and harmony, that energy creates worlds, because love is the creative force, and fear and doubt and anger are all the destructive forces. And so, you see all of this stuff that's supposedly bad or good or whatever, it's all part of the great harmonization. So everything that you see in the news right now and what you're witnessing in the world that you just can't stand looking at because it just breaks your heart, or it's just frustrating and maddening, it's like all of this disconnect and all of this disharmony has to be exposed in order for it to be healed. So this is necessary. So when you see all these bad things happening in the world, it's a good thing, because now it's all coming to the surface. It's all being seen and shown and witnessed all at the same time by all of us, so that we can all look at this and be like, this doesn't work. This does not feel good. We can't live like this anymore. We have to change. We have to do something different. We have to be different towards each other. We have to be different towards ourselves. We have to learn to love ourselves and not get into these toxic relationships that don't respect us. We have to learn to respect ourselves. So this is all part of what's called the Great Harmonization that my guides, the Shastra Collective, talk about often. And so we're, just working together in a way to help create that great harmonization for all of you and for the planet. And you can see, you know, the link in my bios and whatnot if you want to look at. There's actually a video called "The Great Harmonization." It was a live channeling that I did at some event in Florida, I think it was. That's on YouTube, so you can look at my links in my Instagram bio for that. You know, but the thing of it is that matter does not matter. So when we're trying to change things in our life, we try to do something physical to create something physical in our world. But matter does not matter. It's your energy that matters. Because energy creates matter from love and harmony. Love and harmony are that creative force when things come together and flow. You know, when you recognize that harmony around you, you can feel it and you can be it. And then you can start creating from that. You know, so the way that it works is, step one is recognize the harmony around you, whether it's the birds or the warm air or, you know, the trees and the birds. Step two is to feel it, because once you start recognizing these things, then you start feeling those things as well. You start feeling in harmony and your energy shifts. And then step three is to be the harmony, because you are it. You've always been the harmony, but sometimes it takes witnessing and noticing some other things to inspire you to remember what that harmony feels like, so that you feel it in your body and realize like, oh, I actually have access to this great potential of feeling in total harmony and being a co-creator being. You know, because you are the center of harmony in your life, and you just have the, you know, have to remember and connect to that part of you, because you are powerful. Always remember that, like, you are a powerful co-creator. So, you know, if you have any questions below, feel free to, still trying to figure this live thing out here, if comments pop up or not. But yeah, so, you know, and yeah. All right, so now I'm going to work with the Shastra Collective, and I'm going to let them come in and do a live channeling and healing on the subject matter. So if you have any questions, feel free to chat. Oh, okay. All right, so why don't you go ahead and get grounded with me and just take a minute to kind of get in tune with this frequency of the Shastra Collective, and let's take a big deep breath together. So I want you to feel that golden light come through the top of your head and down the front of your face, down the front of your body, down the front of your legs, down out through your feet. And then take another big deep breath. Feel that golden light of oneness just come through the top of your head, down through the center of your body, down through your legs, and going all the way down through your feet, going deep, deep down into the center of the earth. Okay, another big deep inhale. Feel that golden light come down the back of your head and your spine, going all the way down your tailbone, down the backs of your legs, and down out through your feet. Okay. All right, so we're just going to set an intention here to bring in the Shastra Collective and let them speak on love and harmony or whatever they want to talk about today. And we'll check for questions later. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to let them come in and speak on that subject matter. What do we want to talk about today? So as we come in, we just want to say to you that even though we may be saying simple words to you, there's a certain frequency behind our words. And that frequency is that light encoded language of pure love and harmony. And so as you receive our words, you're receiving this frequency through your ears, through vibrations. And so the same goes for you. When you say something, but the energy behind what you're saying is different, those words mean nothing. They're really kind of insignificant. So some of the words we say are very simple and seem very insignificant and unassuming. But when you have the energy behind those words, it's like something lands or something hits inside of you. And so when you are creating your life, and when you're talking about your life or your relationship or your partner or your friend or something that you want to create in your life, when you talk about it, you can say, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to, have the best partner in the world and I'm going to create all these things. But if inside, and most people have this place like deep inside of them that they don't realize is there, that is this little, or sometimes big, like energy that's just really locked down inside of them, very deeply rooted into the core of their energetic field, which tends to kind of reside in the gut, but also in the spine, where you hold these emotions of the past, or you hold these emotions of beliefs that you have about yourself, or your ability, or your lack ability, or maybe believing or not believing that people like you, or want to be around you, or, respect you, or respect the work that you're doing. And so you can say all of these things, but if the energy behind it has this imprint on it, it kind of clashes and it recreates those scenarios over and over again, and then you end up defeated wondering why things didn't take off. And so there's something deep inside that needs to be addressed. And as we're speaking to you, a lot of this is starting to kind of lift and like shake apart a little bit and come to the surface a little bit more for you. Because until those feelings are shaken up, you don't really notice that it's there. And some of you are very aware that it's there, and it gets shaken up, and then you feel like you're constantly shooken up all the time, and you just, it becomes too much. So what do you do to heal the subtle parts of it, but also the parts of it that are too much? And that is where it's a conscious choice to start to say and speak differently about how it is that you're creating your life. And even though you may be saying some of the same words, when you tap into those feelings of energy, you can consciously say, I recognize these are here, and I see them, and I witness them, and I'm working towards releasing them. And every day, more and more and more, I'm releasing them, and I'm overcoming this. Because if you don't start to make that decision to overcome, if you don't start to make that decision to let go, then you just kind of spin in it, like like a downward spiral, or like a hamster in a wheel. You just keep spinning that same emotion over and over. But at some point, you just have to decide, okay, I feel this, I felt it 1,000 times, and I'm ready to move on. You have to decide that you want to move on. Because otherwise those energies and those feelings, it's almost like you have an agreement with those emotions that are there. And the more that you believe them and the more that you agree with them and allow them to be, then they're just going to sit there. They're like people or like beings that you're just saying like, oh, I have all these parasites inside me and there they are and there they will stay and these poor parasites are just ruining my health. But you don't just sit there and let the parasites take over your body. You go and do something about it, and you decide, I'm going to get a parasitic cleanse that's going to come and take these parasites out of my body because I'm deciding to take charge of my health. And so you have to take charge of your energetic health. You have to take charge of your emotional health as well, because otherwise it just sucks you down the spiral, going down the drain, just spiraling downward. And so it's a choice. It's a choice to move ahead, to say enough, enough. Okay? And so we say that because when you start to say the words of what it is that you're creating, then that energy is going to shift as well, because you've decided that you're not letting this grip you anymore. You've decided to recognize these feelings and to change them. You can still have those feelings, because all those feelings, and we don't want to invalidate your feelings. Your feelings are very valid and real for what has happened. But that's all in the past. This is not what's happening right now. This is not what's happening right now to you. And even though you might be still attracting instances where people are triggering and things are happening and whatnot, like recognize that it's because if somebody comes towards you and says something small, to you it may seem huge because there's that energetic like bank account of heaviness inside that needs to be freed. And so just kind of check yourself to say, how would most people react to something like this? Would they get as upset as I'm getting? Would they feel as much as I feel? Would they be, and it's not to compare yourself to other people, it's just to kind of put things in perspective. Like the things that they said or did, is it really, like, did they like burn my house down and steal my car and, like hurt my children? I mean, like, it's not something so big. It's not something so big, and so when your emotions are really big, that lens makes things seem bigger, right? And so when you can just kind of own your feelings and your emotions and not make it about the other person, and you start to observe those feelings and witness them, then you're no longer in the resistance of judging yourself and your own feelings, but you're also not in the resistance with the other person. Because when you become curious and just become witnessing and noticing and not having a story around why they did what they did or why they said what they said or why this is happening to you and why is the world falling apart, but when you just kind of witness it and notice it, then you're no longer in resistance. Then you're in flow. Then you are in creator mode. Then you are taking charge of your life. Then you are in control of yourself, because even though your emotions might feel out of control and they're very valid because of what's happened to you, you can still witness them and be in control of yourself by taking charge of saying, I see you. I see that you're there. However, I'm choosing to take charge of my energetic health and my emotional health, and so I'm going to start to, release these energies and whatnot. And so Cindy will get more into this later about how to do that. But we just want to tell you how important it is to notice and start witnessing the energy behind the words and the beliefs that you have about yourself and the belief that you have about your ability and self-worth and all of those things, and how important that is. So as we're saying these things to you again, it's not what we're saying, it's the energy behind the words of what we're sending to you, because what we are sending to you is pure light and love frequency. And Cindy will confirm this, because when she's speaking, it's almost like this floodgate of love is just taking over her body, that sometimes she has to stop and take a deep breath like she's wanting to do right now, because it's really like coming through. So we're going to give her a second to catch her breath. Yes. So now, having said all that, we want you to take a moment to just harmonize. Just take a moment to close your eyes or just sit quietly and receive this harmonic frequency that is coming in, that is this pure light and love. And if you cannot feel love in your body, if you cannot feel harmony in your body, just imagine or visualize or pretend that there is this little golden seed of light right in the center of your chest, right in your heart center. It's like this little tiny golden spark of light. And the more you focus and notice the spark of light, the more that it grows. And it becomes like this radiant sun that starts to radiate out from the center of your chest and into the back of your chest. And then the light continues to grow and expand through your entire body, down your torso and your abdomen and your pelvis, all the way down out through your legs. And then let it expand through your arms and through the ends of your fingertips. And then all the way up through the top of your head and out the back of your body. And then let that bubble continue to expand to fill up the whole room and the space that you're in. Just feel this radiant sun kind of beaming out from your heart center and just expanding it, using your creative imagination, because creativity is from that creator force of love. And so you can kind of creatively shift yourself into a new reality. You can creatively connect to this harmonic frequency with your imagination, with your visualization, with your choice and your decision to do so. It takes will, determination, intention, and action in the sense of choice. Connecting to this harmony is a choice. And if you feel like you can't connect to the harmony, then you're still focusing on your feelings and the past and all of these things that are bringing you down that spiral. So you have to literally choose to connect with this harmony, to make time to connect with this harmony. This is why meditation is so helpful and important, because it allows you to just take time to give to yourself, to connect to harmony. And even though you may feel you can't meditate and you can't sit still long enough, it doesn't matter. You can just simply listen to some online video that has beautiful music and sit there for 10, 15 minutes. And that will help to realign you and get you into that calmer, more harmonious state than you were when you started. And so these little bits, and it's bit by bit, don't expect to be perfectly connected or a perfect meditator or totally in tune the first time you do it, or even perfectly feeling great, but maybe you'll feel a little bit better. And each time you choose to do that, you'll feel a little bit better and a little bit better, and then you'll become more and more creative. You become more and more of a co-creator being who's in alignment with harmony and wholeness and abundance and all of those things that come effortlessly to some people. And you won't sit there and envy them anymore. You'll see people who are abundant and whole and in harmony, and you'll say, yes, yes, I like that. I like how that looks. Yes, I like how that feels. I'm going to draw that over to me and enjoy this juiciness and this yumminess, and witnessing that that type of harmony is possible in this world, that that type of love is possible in this world, that that level of abundance and integrity with that abundance is possible in this world. So rather than being envious or jealous or feeling like there's something wrong with you and feeling, down on yourself about it, say yes to it. Say yes to other people's abundance. Say yes to other people's amazing rock star, power couple relationships, because it is possible. And it's possible for you too when you start to harmonize with it. And so when you harmonize with it, it's when you identify and you relate and you say yes to it. It's like a dance of a song. When you hear a good song, you're like, ooh, I like that song. I'm going to dance to that song. I'm going to shake my butt around and have a good old time listening to this song. And so when other people are singing that song of love and harmony, abundance around you through their vibration, dance with it. Say, yes, I like this. I like how this feels. Instead of, oh, this person writes this beautiful song and I'm a terrible songwriter. Nobody likes any of my songs. That's not, that's kind of like a analogy of how you're envious or stopping your own creativity because other people are creative in different ways that you are inspired by. Just be inspired. Don't be defeated by that. Okay? So what else do we want to talk about here? Yes. So stay in tune with that inner harmony. And again, if you don't feel it, we're not saying can't. If you don't feel it in that moment, then you can just look around you and find something harmonious, or look at inspiring images of what it is that you want. And don't feel sad about people have this and they have that and I don't. Feel inspired. Say yes to it. Just keep saying yes, yes this, and yes that, and yes I love how that looks, and yes I love how that feels. And I love what that inspires me to think about, passionately for a partnership and all of those things. So just keep saying yes, instead of going inward and just focusing on yourself so much. Just focus outward for a little bit on all of these inspirations and things that can help to bring you back into alignment, because we're all, again, part of the great harmonization, and we're all different notes and chords and scales and energies of this great harmonization. And so but together we make this beautiful music together with all these different notes. Okay, so your note's a little different than theirs. Maybe you're on a different end of the scale, and that's totally fine. But when you harmonize with other people who are in harmony, then you make beautiful music and you become part of that beautiful orchestra and concert of life and celebration that's happening in this world that you know, are witnessing other people becoming a part of. And you can become a part of that too, and you will. The more that you focus on it, the more you say yes to it and harmonize with that beauty. Okay, so we're just checking time here. Okay. All right, so we're tuning in to see if there are any questions. I don't know how this thing works with questions. No, okay. All right, so, okay. So we are the Shastra Collective, and we are complete, and we thank you very much, and we're going to turn this back over to Cindy. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah, they're so great. I love everything they have to say. So yeah, so, you know, and the next phase of this is working through an acronym that the Shastra Collective channeled for me many, many years ago. That's in my workbook, Zero to Oneness. And it's this acronym called LILIAAA. And LILIAAA stands for Love, Intention, Listening, Intuition, Asking, Action, and Accept. And so when you can get into the space of love, you know, sometimes it starts with having to release anger, fear, and doubt. Because if those things are rattling around in your mind, again, that energy is going to be backing whatever it is that you're trying to create. And then it's just going to keep, you know, it's like you're going to be spinning your wheels. And so it's important to sometimes write those things down, because when you write them down, it's like there's an end point to that thought, a period. And then you can have a new thought, and then period, and a new thought, and then period. But when it's in your mind, it just plays over and over and over like a broken record, and then you just keep repeating those thoughts over and over. And so what I call it is like taking out the trash, that you write it down on paper, and then you start to form new thoughts so that you can kind of release that energy. And it's a very cathartic experience. You should try and just keep writing until you can't write anymore of anger, fear, and doubt, and you'll be amazed what you can let go of through writing. And then typically I'll just like tear it up or burn it or throw it away, you know, some sort of ritual of like, I'm releasing this. This is from my past. It's no longer true. I'm choosing to like let this stuff go. And then from that place, you can start to create your life, you know, with love and harmony, and tap into more love. And then once you set your intentions, then now your intentions are backed with that love and harmonious frequency, and then things are going to come back to you that way as well. And the more you start to tap into this love and harmony, you'll start to get little hints and inspirations and, you know, creative ideas and things, and start to tap into your intuition a little bit more. And then if you feel like, you know, you're not exactly getting what you need, then you can ask. You can ask for what you need. You can ask for help. You can ask for somebody that, you know, knows how to do this thing that you don't know how to do to get your business going, or your relationship, or whatever. And then you can put things into action. Then you can start taking action steps to start creating and doing and things. Because typically what we tend to do is we go action, 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 action. Meanwhile, there's all this muddled energy trailing behind it that's causing it to, like, you know, just be a hamster in a wheel and just keep getting nowhere, basically spinning your wheels. You know, so action should be one of the last steps before you start to create something, because if you're not in alignment, it's just, you know, you're just going to end up frustrated. And then the last part of that is just sit back and accept. Get in that acceptance and receiving mode and just let things come to you. Just like when you plant a seed, you know, you don't expect it to not grow. It'll just, you know, there's nutrients in the soil, there's sunlight, there's rain, like it'll just grow. You know, you don't have to sit there and like monitor it every minute, or like sit there and like prune it every single day and pick at its leaves and check the seed to see if it's popped out yet. You know, you just let it be, and you just accept it, allow it, and just receive the abundance that's going to be coming forth to you. So I'm going to be having an online class starting September 6th on Tuesdays. It's going to be for 4 weeks. We're going to do an online class every Tuesday for 4 weeks called Creating Your Life with Love and Harmony. The link is in my bio if you want to check it out, and or you can email me for more details. And yeah, just let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you really enjoyed this live streaming with the Shastra Collective today. I'm also going to be doing this on Insight Timer today at 6 o'clock, but if you've already seen this, then you probably don't need to attend. I just did it here because Insight Timer is a little more strict about things I can and can't say about classes and things that are not of Insight Timer. So yeah, thank you all so much, and feel free to message me, reach out, comment below, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be circling back if you have questions or comments to respond to you at a later time. Okay, thanks so much.